Welcome, everyone. I'm Zach, the host of this here channel. I got my buddies here if you want to introduce yourselves again.
They already know us by now. We've been sarcastic enough. They should know our dulcet tones.
I introduced myself. Be polite.
Well, you're the host. You have to introduce yourself.
And you're my guest.
All right, I'm
Justin.
Doug.
I'm Justin.
I'm Doug.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Hello, Paul.
The Jimmy Neutron monkey.
The Jimmy Neutron monkey, that's right.
Oh my gosh.
I feel the need.
The
Need for speed.
We should have high-fived.
That was so cringeworthy.
We should have high-fived.
Well, you have to be cringeworthy. I mean,
It's Tom.
That's what the first
Top Gun.
movie is, isn't it?
Man.
No, the first
Between
movie
the
was a
movie-
homoerotic love fest with a lot of fetishes for planes.
Didn't you watch the Honest trailers?
Yes, I guess I did. You showed me.
Every man tries to make hot, steamy love to Tom Cruise. Just watch Val Kilmer.
They did tie it down a little bit better in this one. I'll give it that.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. They toned down a lot of things. But for the better, probably.
I know, it
I
really...
agree.
Like, just to get it out of the way, I just had such a good time at
I
this
did
movie.
too. I really liked it. I was...
Like, you don't go into Top Gun Maverick looking for a bulletproof story or anything that's, like, super intricate and involved. You go to watch some cool dogfights and, like, Tom Cruise just chewing the scenery and having a good time.
I did really like his story, though. I liked the overall story of him having to deal with losing Goose and having to deal with Goose's kid and having to finally face that after running from it. I thought that was nice.
Like, it's ironic that this movie, like, 30 years later feels like a proper sequel to the first one. Like,
right.
The entire
Yeah.
movie is just dealing with stuff from the first movie.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because he's been spending like 30 years being a Navy test pilot, flying the stealth bomb.
Because he lasted 2 weeks as a Top Gun instructor.
Right. I thought it was awesome. That first shot where he's flying over the Ed Harris, who's on screen for about
goodness.
3 minutes. Him flying over Ed Harris in that plane was spectacular. It was awesome.
That felt almost like a full movie.
It was awesome. Way awesome. Not to brag, but I did see this in IMAX. The way that Tom Cruise told me I needed to see it. The biggest screen I could find. That's honestly probably the best part of the
So you're just listening to Tom Cruise, whatever he tells you, eh?
Be careful that you might end up giving some money to some religious organization. We're
Go
not gonna
get your
mention my name
feed-ins.
here.
The best part is he took that into a trailer. That's the best part. You need to see this on the biggest screen you can. IMAX.
In the IMAX screening that you went to, was there an intro where Tom Cruise was thanking everybody for going to the theater?
No, but I wish he had. That would have been hilarious.
There was
There was at Cinema.
Yeah.
Was there really?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
A little 2-minute segment of just him sitting in his little production booth saying, "Thank you for coming and seeing our movie. We worked really hard for you guys."
We made it for you guys.
Well, I guess that's true. Well, if you think about it, like, this movie's been in development, like, waiting to be released. It's been like 2.5 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was... They filmed this thing in, like, 2018.
And
You can tell he looked in a lot better shape back then.
Yeah, in that little intro video, he is starting to look a little old.
the fact that it's been delayed, I think it was delayed twice last year.
Something like that.
And they just had all the stuff with COVID. And then that video surfacing of Tom Cruise yelling at that poor person for not wearing their mask and all that stuff. I really feel like he was trying to set out with this movie to make something that everybody could enjoy, so that everybody would go back to the movie theaters. I really think he was trying.
Hasn't it been breaking records with, like, the older crowd, like, actually managing to get them back into theaters for the first time
Heck
in
yeah.
years?
Yeah.
Well, like, I almost think I really think that he went out of his way. He's like, I got to make a movie that will make people want to go see movies again in the theater, not to stream. Because you've seen over the last year with Black Widow and other movies going straight to streaming, like, that kind of hurt the movie theater industry, you know?
It's interesting because, like, you know, HBO and Warner Brothers did that whole entire thing last year where every single movie that they released, that was originally going to go to theaters simultaneously went to HBO. And then, of course, you had things with, like, Disney Plus, like, dropping things and you had to pay $30 in order to watch it at home.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And I'm sure Paramount wanted to release this movie so that they could just get the money and move on. But Tom Cruise is like, no, it needs to be in a theater. That's it. No compromises. We're not going to put this on the streaming service. And I think it paid off.
I think it did too.
Financially and in terms of its, word of mouth.
I feel like Tom Cruise knows the movie business pretty well at this point.
Well, he does, yeah.
He really ought to just start his own studio, to be honest with you.
Pretty sure he is. He does have
he
that
have-
studio
does he
that
have-
does all the Mission Impossible movies.
Does he have a production company, or does he have like a studio?
Isn't it like that Skydance company?
Yeah, Skydance.
Is that his?
Yeah,
It
that's
might be,
his.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they produced Top Gun and the next
that's all
Mission
the
Impossible.
Mission Impossible movies, I think. Also, I think, doesn't J.J. Abrams like collaborate with him a lot too on the Mission Impossible movies?
J.J. Abrams does. He's like a producer of them, yeah. Except, who knows if J.J. Abrams wants to make movies again after what happened with Episode 9.
That partially wasn't. I mean, part of it was his fault, but most of that was Disney bungling through a whole trilogy of movies.
But
And
we're
they-
talking about a movie that was not bungled,
I was gonna
which
say,
was Top
Heck
Gun
no.
Maverick.
So good.
I think it balanced the nostalgia and pushing the envelope to new stuff. If that makes sense. There's just enough callback to where I was like, Val Kilmer was that sleazy blonde guy,
Iceman.
Iceman.
Oh, and that was like one of the best scenes in the entire movie.
I know, that was awesome.
And you could really see like Tom Cruise acting because Val Kilmer wasn't giving him anything. He was quiet by reason of the plot.
Right.
And so Tom Cruise is just talking essentially to himself for 5 minutes. And it was like genuinely good.
I did like the typing though. I'm glad that they figured out a way to make him in the movie. I feel really bad for Val Kilmer, and I appreciate that they went to steps to make sure he could be in it. He's
Yeah.
such a big part of the first one.
Yeah, I thought it was really respectful that they allowed, Val Kilmer to be in this movie, essentially playing himself in a way, just as Iceman. Like, canonically, Iceman has the same condition that, Val Kilmer does, and so I think it's really nice that they, didn't try to compromise anything. They didn't, try to come up with some weird AI tuned voice.
CGI Val Kilmer.
Well, you know how, they came out with, the Boba Fett show in the episode that Luke was in? Spoilers.
It's out enough now, they know.
Well, some people don't, but
Yeah.
it came out that the voice of young Luke in that show wasn't even really Mark Hamill's. It was AI generated vocal tones.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Paramount could have taken the easy route and done that same thing with Val Kilmer and de-aged him or whatever, but no, they put him as he is in the movie and they made it part of his character, and I think they made it a really respectful way
I agree.
to allow Tom Cruise. Well, sorry, I'm saying Tom Cruise. For
It's all about Tom.
for Maverick to have an opportunity to really open up about his experiences with somebody who could understand it.
Tom Cruise was at the center of it all. And every single character is just pure character development for the Maverick character. And just him being with Val Kilmer and being with his old girlfriend, all of these different scenes were just really just binding together really well.
Interestingly enough, you know that the girlfriend didn't come out of the blue? She's mentioned in the first Top Gun movie.
I heard about that after the fact. Yeah.
So did I, but I didn't know anything about her. I was like, Tom Cruise Tom Cruise Maverick gets around. I'm sure he has a lot of people that he's had, I guess,
Relations with.
relationships.
Well, she's in the first movie. You see her
What? When?
in the bar.
I'm gonna have to rewatch
What?
this movie.
What? In the first Top Gun, she's in that part?
Yeah.
Well, not Jennifer Connelly.
Oh.
They even
I
show
don't like the
they even
character-
show flashback scenes from the first movie with her there.
Oh my. I totally missed that part. In any case, she's supposed to be the daughter of the Admiral guy that has the mustache, the Burt Reynolds guy. Looks like Burt Reynolds. She's supposed to be his daughter.
Okay.
Anyway, that's how I was explained to me. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a nice little callback to the mustachioed guy.
Needless to say, she's looking good for early 50s or however old she is.
Say, her and Tom Cruise both, man. They both look like they're in their 40s, man.
Like, unironically, Tom Cruise has a better musculature than, like, 90% of people alive today.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It was funny to me how they tried to pull that little cliche of like, oh, this old guy's teaching us. Like, the Glenn Powell character is basically like, thanks, Gramps. He doesn't even look...
He doesn't look like a grandpa at all.
And the freaking beach rugby scene, he looks as chiseled as the rest of them.
I know, he actually looks better looking than half the other guys.
I was like, Tom Cruise looks yoked, and this other guy that's probably 30 years younger than him looks like a freaking Gumby out there on the freaking thing. Speaking of which, of all the supporting characters in this movie, there are a lot of them. I think I enjoyed the interactions with John Hamm and the other Admiral guy. I don't know what that guy's name is, or the actor's name, but him and John Hamm were awesome. I really liked both of them. Also, it was hilarious to me that he came and found them on the beach. He went looking in the flight school, the locker rooms, the classroom. They playing attack and defend football on the beach. He's like, what are you guys doing?
You wanted a team? There's your team. It just fits so well with how campy Top Gun is.
Yep.
It's like, oh, they need to bond together because they're all jerks to each other. How are we going to do it?
Play sand football.
Play sand football without shirts.
Jeez.
And everyone just tackles each other, and Bob gets the winning play.
Freaking Bob.
Bob. Bill Pullman's son. Love it.
There wasn't a single character that I didn't like in this movie.
No, yeah.
Like, everyone did their part and got out of the screen.
Yeah. It is very focal. It's very focused on Tom Cruise himself, but I think everybody around him did a really good job. I liked Miles Teller's character too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have. I was thinking about it. If I had to go and be around the person inadvertently, because it was a malfunction. It wasn't Tom Cruise. It wasn't Maverick's fault that Goose died. It was a malfunction with the plane. But if I had to be next to the guy who had been flying the plane that killed my dad, I probably would have reacted the same way, not wanted to talk to him.
And you know what's funny is that, like, that wasn't even the reason that he was so mad at Tom Cruise. Like, he explains a couple times in the movie that it's because Tom pulled his papers from the academy.
Right. And that was a really good scene, too, when they're in there. And Tom Cruise finds out that he knows that he pulled his papers.
Well, it sounds like it was pretty obvious to everyone involved.
Oh, yeah.
He just never explained that it was the mom that told him to do it, so...
Right.
Mm-hmm. I like the reasoning that he gives, too, that it's like, he already hates me, why make him hate his mom when he was the one that supported him the whole time, know?
The movie goes exactly how you would expect. Yep. Like, every single thing's like, yep, they're angry at each other now, they're going to be best friends at the end. Oh, the plane goes down, like, the Goose's son is going to come back and save him. Oh, this happens, yeah, this is going to happen. And it all happens exactly that way. There's no subverting expectations. It's super straightforward, but it's handled super well.
Bro, I thought when Tom Cruise got shot down, I was like, no way did Tom Cruise just kill himself in his own movie. I was like, there is no way that he's going to die. And then when he gets up and the helicopter's coming to shoot him, I was like, they had me believe for a split second, I was like, he's the mad lad. He's actually going to do it. He's going to kill himself. And then the helicopter just exploded. I was like, of course.
Not a chance that would happen. In this movie... No, this is going to have the happy ending. The moment that the jerk pilot sat in his plane on the carrier deck, I was like, yeah, he's going to come save the day at the very end, isn't he?
Make some snippy remark. Everybody's going to go high five on the carrier deck, just like the end of the last one. And hug and take pictures. And
like, it all happens exactly how you would expect. But it was just done so well that I had zero complaints with that.
Neither did I.
The thing is like, You just mentioned the fact that, it ends with all of them, like, high-fiving and hugging each other on the tarmac of the carrier. But it's like, there are all of those elements that are there from the first movie that have come back to this one. You have the Great Balls of Fire scene. You have the football, you have the beach scene. Mm-hmm. You have that scene, and you have the dog fights, and all of these things that are, like, recycled plot beats.
You even have a Buzz the Tower moment at the very end.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. All these things have come back, but I think the reason why it works for me, which I should remark that I don't even really like the first movie all that much.
Me neither.
It did not hold up.
It has a few good moments.
When I watched it, I liked it, but I was like, wow, this is an 80s movie.
But I think the reason why is because, like, you know, that movie is entrenched in its time period, and it almost feels like, you know, they're just kind of hanging out and trying to find an excuse to make a movie. Whereas with this, they actually had a competent screenplay.
Yeah.
Like, they put all of those elements and just kind of fit them where it made sense into a story that actually had some, like, weight and stakes in it.
Yeah, the pacing was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there was a single moment that I was bored or, like, feeling rushed at all. It was just one good moment, good scene, move on. Good scene, move on.
I appreciated that from, like, the first 20 minutes of the movie. You know exactly where this is headed. We have an impossible mission. Oh my gosh, he even says it in the movie. I forgot. He said it in the movie. We have an impossible mission for you. In the briefing.
Hey!
Like, oh my gosh.
Tom Cruise wrote that line.
No, but he's like, this mission is... I want to say he said, like, this mission is impossible or something.
He basically
something
says that, yeah.
silly like that. I was like, okay, all right, calm down. But that whole part, you know from the get-go, hey, they're going to have to train to be crazy and make this work, even if it's an impossible mission or whatever. And so the whole movie, they're working on it, and they're like, oh crap, we're not going to be able to make this mission because it's so hard or whatever. And they figure it out at the end.
Like, the entire movie can just be summed up as like, ooh, we're going to set up a problem, Tom Cruise has a moment of self-reflection, and then you get really hype as you solve the problem.
Yeah.
Like, and just repeat that 10 times in a row.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing, though.
No, I completely agree. Like, the scene where they all thought it was impossible to get it under 2 minutes and 30 seconds to do the test run. And so they just insisted again and again and again, it is completely impossible. And he tries to teach them, and it's impossible for them. And so he tells the Admiral tells them, all you've taught them is that it's impossible. And so that's all you know, is that this is an impossible mission. Obstacles set up. Yeah. Tom Cruise has a moment of self-reflection, then he steals a jet, and he does it in under time. And it's so hype.
Yeah, 2:15, yeah, and it's crazy.
Like, you're just cheering for it the entire time.
I love that the tension of this movie just comes from them trying to figure the whole thing out. Like, you know how much time they have? Like, you know that it's a mission that, yeah, is probably going to fail if they're not trying so hard and then under this immense, like, insurmountable amount of
pressure,
right. And I think that's just what propels the movie forward. Like, the first movie, you know, you have all these contentious things going on between all the pilots, but it's like, is there a point to this?
And there wasn't.
There's literally just like a dogfight that happens in the last 10 minutes just from out of nowhere. And then in this movie, you know how it's gonna... I mean, yeah, it's kind of predictable in a sense, but like it's not bad just because of how well it's executed and how well you're wrapped up in the story.
Like, yeah, I had zero problems with being able to
really enjoyed
just like predict everything that happened. I was like, yeah, I know that's gonna happen, but you know what? It was fun to watch. It was completely predictable, and the villains were like just faceless,
totally
nameless
nation.
Yep, this rogue nation out in the middle of nowhere.
Should have made it Arizona or something.
Arizona.
Nah, they had to have the fun snow and stuff.
That's fair. I'm just making it Flagstaff.
Next to the beach?
Next.
Literally, the base is like 5 minutes from the beach.
Oh, man.
Well, just make it like an open world video game map.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know,
jeez.
Where the entire globe is only condensed to about 30 square kilometers.
Yeah, basically. Just make it a Far Cry game, and you're set.
And I love how this... Like, I was talking with my dad, and my dad is very much a military guy. He served and everything, but he was talking to me, and I thought it was so funny that this rogue nation that has nuclear capabilities has these Generation 5 fighters, the top of the line, best fighters in the world, but, like, they're nobodies at the same time. They get completely beat up by Tom Cruise in an old
F-14.
F-14.
Also, I thought it was hilarious. They just happened to have the plane that Tom Cruise.
Like
An F-14 just like on the side of the
yes,
base.
we have 8 bunkers with all brand new Generation 5 fighters and 1 F-14 from 40 years ago.
The best part is Miles Teller going, are you sure that thing could even fly? And Tom Cruise just looks at him, runs away, and he's like, what? And he keeps
I shot down 3 MiGs with one of those.
What?
And they just walk across the airfield and
No one notices them.
look like you belong.
Nobody noticed them turning on the engine. That was the part that freaked me out. Jets are freaking loud, man.
You'd hear that from like 10 miles
Yeah,
away.
you would hear them. You'd hear them start going.
I thought someone would come and start shooting.
Yeah,
at
that's
them.
what I thought.
I was like, oh wait, no, they're just gonna go for it.
It's so friggin' corny. But it's awesome.
But it's so awesome at the same time.
It's great.
Ugh. Especially when they're actually like flying alongside the Generation 5 fighters and they're just waving at them like, hey, what's up, buddy? Hey.
Just wave. What does that symbol mean? I have no idea. Just wave.
It's like at the end of Independence Day.
Yeah, I know.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
They have no idea what's going to happen, do they? Not a chance. You know another thing that I thought of about this movie, probably about halfway through, when they're actually testing, like, you know, the full run through of the mission, after they do, you know, the overcrest, and then they have to do a barrel roll in order to target the silo. Someone said that like the target was like 3 meters
Yeah,
wide.
it is absolutely
like,
the Death Star
This
run.
is just the Death Star trench run stretched out to 2 hours.
No, it really is. You can't go above a certain level or else the turrets will get you. You have to go
That
fly
is
through these
amazing.
narrow corridors,
I did not realize.
and then you're hitting a
that.
spot that's 3 meters
Funny.
wide. It is
Oh
exactly
my
the
gosh.
Death Star trench run.
I turned over to my mom as soon as I heard that part, and I'm like, Death Star. And she laughed.
That is hilarious. I didn't even catch that, but that makes. I'm gonna have to go watch this dumb movie again.
This movie's the best Star Wars movie in a long time. It's got everything you'd want with dogfights and old crappy fighters versus Imperial TIE fighters. And
There's even a I have you now moment, and then suddenly the guy gets blown up by the guy who comes in the end.
Yeah, speak. Amazing.
So good.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I really liked it. Also, can we appreciate the fact that they went out of their way to make the planes look like realistic?
well, because they flew the real
But
planes.
I don't know if that was Tom Cruise and the actors really piloting all those most of the time, but
No,
it
they
sure
weren't.
looked sweet. From
Well,
the cockpit shots, from the airplay, looked awesome.
I watched a video essay this morning on that very subject. I'll have it linked in the description because I thought it covered this topic really well. But Tom Cruise actually, and the crew, actually trained those actors in order
Yeah.
to know how to operate a camera. And so they would actually go in these F-18s with real pilots. They would be like in the, you know, the secondary seat or whatever. And they would actually be in those cockpits with them, like filming all of this footage. So much so that they were only able to salvage this movie from 800 hours of flight footage.
Wow.
Remember, every hour in flight is several $1,000s paid.
But it pays off.
It looks awesome.
And it sounds amazing, too.
Yeah, it does.
The
Oh,
sounds
Let me
are
tell
excellent.
you, them flying the planes, the IMAX sound system was popping. It was awesome. They were flying around and blowing stuff up, and it was awesome. It really was. I bet it even sounded cool on the plebe showings.
Don't act like you're better than us. You and your 5th generation movie theater. Our F-14 worked just fine.
with stadium recliners.
All I'm saying is it was cool, and the IMAX sound system was awesome.
No, I believe you.
I bet you could see the forces of gravity on the poor actors' faces a whole lot cleaner.
It's like, dude,
These
when
people
they-
looked all mushed.
Dude, they were going up. What's funny is they're. It's like, oh my gosh, those poor actors. I was laughing because I felt so bad. there are videos on YouTube of watching G's what they do to people, and like, it's nuts, man.
Well, Tom Cruise even goes through it like the checklist, like, yeah, you'll have about 2,000 pounds of pressure on your body, and
Yeah,
the blood is going to go down to your feet, and like
It was
all of
nuts.
these different things.
But the fact that they were able, I wonder if they had people pass out. I bet you
I
they
bet
did.
they
Actually,
did.
I bet they did pass out. Even the immortal Tom Cruise probably passed out going out of that dive.
Isn't he a licensed pilot?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Apparently, he owns an F-14.
He does, yeah.
I wonder if he flew that.
Probably.
Savage.
I
he
would.
Probably did.
He probably did.
I mean, if
So
I was him, I
He
would.
put Miles Teller in the back. Bro, this is gonna be so sweet.
I'm not so sure about this.
Miles Teller.
Mouse Teller's like, wait, are we gonna wait for one of the professional flight pilots?
No way, man.
What kind of life insurance policy do I have, Tom?
What's that?
Enough. I bet Miles Teller is really glad to not be in this movie because he doesn't have to listen to crazy Tom tell him to do stuff. Look, we're gonna
He
make
doesn't
you
have
do...
to keep that mustache anymore.
They sure made him look like
Oh,
Ed
he
Cruz,
looked
though.
exactly like...
Somebody, who was I talking to? They thought that he was the actor from the first movie.
They really?
Yeah, somebody I was talking to, I was like, yeah, he's the actor from the
Look,
first
they
movie.
went
I'm
out of
like,
their
no,
way to
he's
like
not.
have him with the mannerisms, like the lanky
Oh,
movements, have the same stupid beach shirt, the same glasses.
Same insanely loud laugh.
Yeah, it was like they
Oh,
went
man.
out of their way. Like it was almost like it almost took me out a little. It was like there's no way a modern soldier is literally going to copy paste his dad from the 70s.
Right. But he did.
But he did.
He did, Gandalf. He did.
I actually really, I liked him. I liked all the other pilots too. I thought they were cool. I thought that John Hamm and the Admiral guy were cool. I liked everybody. I thought it was just
Yeah,
a good
I didn't
film all the way around.
Have any issues?
The funniest part though is when Tom Cruise is sneaking out from the mom's house.
Oh, yeah.
The daughter catches him and he's just like,
Don't break her heart again.
he just
The
looks like
mom's forcing him out the window to so that she can provide a good impression for her daughter.
one of the best parts of the whole movie. Alright. He keeps walking.
I wonder how that scene is going to play at home, because it kind of feels like one of those Marvel movie laugh moments
Yes.
where it's just so silent for a stretch of time and then someone says something. It got a laugh out of my theater. It certainly
I
did.
laughed
I don't know. I think
thought
like
it was
that
hilarious.
the humor, like them being silent and staring at each other, only adds to the humor of the situation.
I agree.
Oh, no, it does. I'm just
and
saying.
so
that,
I
like,
feel like even in a silent home, that would work just fine.
I thought it was funny. When I watch this again later, when it drops on Netflix to stream, then I'll watch it.
Paramount Plus. You can sign up for that and the Halo show.
Oh, jeez.
And all
the
10
Star Treks shows,
All the Star Treks.
Don't even.
and the Sonic movie.
And Jackass.
What?
I'm saying the title of the movie.
Yeah, that's Sonic 2.
Hey, don't make fun of that movie. I had fun with that movie too.
You don't make fun of the Winter Soldier.
Oh, jeez.
Thanks, Idris Elba.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Good times were had.
At Top
That-
Gun, I agree.
I had fun at Sonic 2, and I had fun at this movie.
Thanks,
Solid.
Paramount.
The only things that have been good that they've done. And that's mostly because they didn't really have a hand in it. This was all Tom Cruise work, and Sonic was all the fans' work that worked as the
That
producers.
is accurate.
That is very accurate, yeah.
Yes.
Anything that Paramount itself touches, basura.
Before we close up, the last thing I really want to say is that Mach 10 scene was so cool.
It was so
It was
cool.
awesome, dude.
Dude, like, I texted you both. Like,
Right after,
15
yeah.
Right after that scene happened, and I'm like, this whole 15-minute sequence is better than the whole movie.
The whole
Wasn't
first
I
movie,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. When he takes off with the general, where he blows by the guard station, the general standing there in the car, to when he goes Mach 10 and everybody's like, oh, that's so awesome. And then he crash lands in the middle of suburban
He blows
nowhere.
up the plane. And he's in the middle of, like, Wisconsin after
you from-
flying from California.
Oh, yeah. The kid is like,
The kid thinks
Earth?
he's an alien. Oh, man.
That was another great laugh moment in our theater. But,
Like, none of the humor was forced. Like,
No.
every laugh that I had felt like totally genuine.
Yeah,
for
it was
sure.
amazing.
But yeah, that scene though, like, obviously they used a lot more CGI in that scene than they did with, the actual F-18 sequences, but the way that everything was shot and composed and everything put together, like just the visual effects shots, perfection.
Yeah.
It was
That is how
awesome.
you do CGI in a movie.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I can't say more than that. It was just awesome.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Had
You got-
fun.
You guys have anything else to say?
I love attacking nations that don't have names. And
And
they clearly
no
are
symbols, no flags.
virtue signaling towards a specific nation that may or may not be attacking Ukraine right now. What?
Demonetized?
You're gonna get a bomb.
Sorry, I didn't mean to demonetize your.
No, it's okay. We probably won't do anything.
I'm hilarious. Laugh with me.
This video is gonna get 100,000 views from Russian bots.
I didn't specifically say that country's name.
You mean Putin's country right now? Where the Kremlin is? In Moscow?
St. Petersburg!
Look at all the snow. What country has snow in this movie?
Mongolia.
But it's not next to the ocean.
Oh, jeez.
Good times.
Nothing the U.S. would love to do besides drop Tomahawk missiles right on the Russian Air Force base right now. And we've seen how good the Russian fighters have been these last couple of months. Their Generation 5 fighters sure are worse than an F-14, that's for sure.
Oh man, Russia didn't deserve that.
No, they did. They did.
Oh man,
You promised we wouldn't get political. No!
look at
You started it.
No, I did actually. Listen to me. In all
Zach's going to edit all of this conversation
all this
out.
nonsense,
What if I keep it in, hey?
it would be very entertaining. I told you we'd be able to riff on this on this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It was
all
only a
I'm gonna
matter
say-
of time.
All I'm gonna say is, overall, was awesome. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should see it, and you should definitely try and go see it
In theaters.
in theaters.
Yes.
But not in IMAX. That's too expensive.
Yeah, because then you'll piss off the old manager that my
Oh
buddy
my
Justin and I used to
gosh.
work with.
He used to give us such a hard time because
Even your theater stories.
we went and saw Endgame in IMAX, and he never let us hear the end of it. Every single time.
Well, yeah, it's really good. You don't even need to have seen the first one in order to appreciate it. It gives you
Really
enough
don't.
context
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
first movie in order for it to just to be a good, standalone, awesome blockbuster.
It's true.
But thank you all for listening in. It's always fun talking with these boys. Hopefully we can make another video like this for some movie coming out in the future.
Which one?
Our next discussion takes place on a beach with our shirts off. And lots of baby oil.
I was gonna say the next one we should do is Jurassic World Extinction.
Ooh, I do
Pass.
want to talk about that.
Oh, I'm seeing that definitely.
I'm seeing that opening night.
Oh, I'm not that brave, but
I
I got Cinemark Movie Club, so I don't have to pay extra for it.
all right. Now you're advertising Cinemark Movie Club in your
Sponsored
podcast.
by Cinemark Movie Theaters. The best seat in town. Are they the best seat in town? No, that's a different one.
No, that is their tagline. The best seat in town.
Best seat in town.
Yeah.
You worked there for how many years?
1.5. I didn't learn anything there
I can tell.
besides how to make popcorn.
Well, I don't think anyone else there has learned that. So
Well, if you guys like this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel so that you can check out more of the awesome things that we're making, but also the things that I'm writing and editing on my own.
like
And
this
I-
video. Like it.
Subscribe.
Like the video.
Hit that bell so you'll get notifications on when the next video comes.
Join the
Subliminal
subscribe
messages.
squad.
Subliminal.
It's the notification squad. you
Whatever.
gosh dang it.
That's my bit.
I don't even watch YouTube.
He makes it ironically. It's hilarious. Or maybe he really does want people to hit the bell in his video.
No, Zach doesn't want money from this at all. He wants 5 viewers for the rest of his life.
You don't know the levels of satire I go through in order to to make this stuff.
This is irony on like a 9th level right there.
I'm 4 parallel universes ahead of your irony.
Okay, Mario.
Oh, man.
All right, well, thanks, everyone, and I hope you all have a great day.
Danger Zone.
Highway to the danger zone!